You probably grew up hearing some of these facts. The idea that you have only five senses, or that carrots could give you superhuman vision. But what if I told you that almost every one of these beliefs was completely false? In this video, we're counting down the top 10 myths we all believed until the truth shattered them. We were always taught at school and told by teachers that we have five senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. But the truth is, we have many more. Our sense of balance, temperature, and internal body awareness are crucial, but they're often ignored. Today, we have uncovered these hidden senses and why they change everything we thought we knew. Have you ever been told to eat your carrots because they'll improve your eyesight? Well, that's only half true. Carrots contain vitamin A, which helps keep your eyes healthy and prevents vision problems caused by vitamin A deficiency. But if your eyesight is already normal, eating extra carrots won't suddenly give you night vision or superhuman eyesight. So where did this myth come from? During World War II, the British military wanted to hide the fact that they had developed powerful radar technology. To explain why their pilots could spot enemy planes so well at night, they claimed it was because the pilots ate lots of carrots. The public believed it. And somehow, decades later, many of us still do. When you think of a Viking, what comes to mind? A fierce warrior, a giant beard, and probably a helmet with two massive horns sticking out of it. The problem? Vikings never actually wore horned helmets. Historians have found Viking helmets from archaeological sites across Europe, and none of them had horns. In reality, horns would have made combat harder by adding weight and giving enemies something to grab onto. So where did the myth come from? In the 1800s, costume designers creating Viking characters for operas wanted them to look more dramatic and intimidating. They added horns. The image became popular, and somehow, a costume design mistake became one of history's most famous myths. For thousands of years, many people believed the Earth was completely flat. And honestly, it's easy to see why. When you stand outside, the ground looks flat in every direction. There are no obvious curves, no visible signs that you're standing on a giant sphere moving through space. But over time, observations started revealing a different story. Ships disappeared hull first over the horizon. Travelers noticed different stars appearing in different parts of the world. And during lunar eclipses, Earth's shadow was always perfectly round. Piece by piece, the evidence became impossible to ignore. The Earth wasn't flat. It was a globe all along. In 1969, humanity achieved something that had never been done before. We landed on the moon. But almost immediately, some people began claiming it was fake. They pointed to photographs where the American flag appeared to wave. They questioned the shadows, and some even argued that the entire mission was filmed in a secret studio. The problem? None of the evidence holds up. The flag appeared to move because astronauts twisted the pole while planting it. The strange shadows were caused by uneven lunar terrain, and the technology required to fake the landing convincingly simply didn't exist in 1969. More than half a century later, mountains of evidence still point to the same conclusion. Humans really did walk on the moon. You've probably heard this fact before. The Great Wall of China is the only human-made structure visible from space. Sounds impressive. There's just one problem. It's not true. Although the Great Wall is incredibly long, it's also surprisingly narrow and often blends into the surrounding landscape. From low Earth orbit, astronauts can sometimes spot sections of it under ideal conditions, but it's extremely difficult. In fact, roads, airports, and even large cities are often easier to see. The myth became so popular that many people accepted it as fact without ever questioning it. But from space, the Great Wall isn't nearly as visible as most people imagine. For most of human history, people believed that Earth sat at the center of the universe. It seemed obvious. The sun rose, the sun set, the stars moved across the sky. Everything appeared to revolve around us. But as astronomers began making more precise observations, cracks started to appear in the theory. The planets didn't move exactly as expected. Their paths were strange and difficult to explain. Then came a radical idea. What if Earth wasn't the center? What if we were actually moving around the sun? Over time, the evidence became overwhelming. Earth wasn't the center of the universe. We weren't even the center of our own solar system. You've probably heard the phrase, blind as a bat. But bats aren't actually blind. In fact, most bats can see surprisingly well. Some species can even see almost as well as humans during the day. So why do people think they're blind? Because bats use a remarkable ability called echolocation. They produce high-pitched sounds and listen to the echoes bouncing back from objects around them. This allows them to navigate and hunt in complete darkness. The myth became so widespread that many people assumed bats couldn't see at all. But the truth is much more impressive. Bats can see. They just have a superpower that most animals don't. A slice of pizza falls onto the floor. Instantly, a timer starts running in your head. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. As long as you pick it up quickly enough, it's still safe to eat, right? That's the idea behind the famous 5-second rule. The belief that germs need time to climb onto your food. But bacteria don't wait for permission. The moment food touches a contaminated surface, microbes can transfer almost instantly. Whether it's 1 second or 5 seconds often makes very little difference. A teenager shaves for the first time. A few days later, the hair grows back. It looks darker. It feels thicker. And suddenly the warning appears. Be careful. Shaving makes your hair grow back thicker. Sounds convincing. Except it isn't true. Shaving only cuts hair at the surface of the skin. It doesn't affect the root. It doesn't change the color. And it doesn't make the hair grow faster. The reason it looks thicker is surprisingly simple. When hair grows naturally, its tip is soft and tapered, but shaving cuts the hair straight across. As it grows back, that blunt edge makes it appear darker, coarser, and thicker than it really is. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like. It tells YouTube that I'm not just talking to myself. And if you subscribe, there's a slightly higher chance that I can eventually afford groceries. Thanks for watching.